What does asthma, wildfires, and famine have in common? You guessed it, buildings, high emission buildings. Your homes and maybe even your office buildings. I grew up traveling between Nigeria and the States. I've witnessed the effects of global warming firsthand in both places. I remember as a child growing up in Nigeria, overhearing my grandmother, we called her Iye, discussing the changing weather patterns with the other elders in our village. The rainy season was late again, which meant we could not grow enough crops to feed everyone again. And I remember the dread that followed. And it was not just from the drought, because when the rain finally did come, it came all at once, washing our crops away instead of helping them grow like they used to. I have personally witnessed droughts, hunger, floods, because there is no plan B when your crops get washed out. Back home, I've witnessed death by famine and the pure devastation as a result of that. And I was just a child, of course, so I really didn't understand climate change or how Western civilization had not just colonized the land and the sea, but now the atmosphere. And when we moved to America, we were always in the inner city urban areas. And I noticed that there were so many children with asthma. I mean, it was hard not to notice all the children with asthma. And then I ended up getting asthma. And I remember the gasping for air during those asthma attacks, the inhalers, the breathing machines, the multiple hospital visits. But I remember feeling calm in the midst of that because asthma was just so normalized in my community. I later discovered why. We hear these terms, fossil fuels, carbon emissions, natural gas. And for the most part, I don't think people really understand what these terms mean. I mean, they almost sound harmless. So let's demystify them together. Simply put, they are poisons, toxic agents that wreak havoc on our environment and its inhabitants. What we should really use are terms like atmosphere pollutants or poisonous gases that destroy human health and our planet's natural growing environment. Because that sounds bad, as it should, because it is. And I'm saying it out loud to motivate us to action because I believe that we can change the trajectory if we want to. Climate change is caused by our burning of fossil fuels, leading to excess greenhouse gases getting trapped in the atmosphere, polluting the air, contributing to many health complications such as asthma. See, popular media will show you the wildfires, the droughts, the rising sea levels, but I want to highlight a major contributor in our community. Inner city communities bear a brunt of these poisons. Buildings usually release a staggering 30% of emissions, but in inner city urban areas, they can release as much as 80% of emissions. And it's high time we take action against climate violence. And if you didn't know that there's a battle, well, now you know. And you can fight or you can surrender. And while it's true that emissions anywhere leads to warming everywhere, the people most impacted by this crisis are the people who contributed the least to it. These buildings cause so much harm to our health and our environment. Why isn't more being done? The truth is, but it's a secret, there is so much being done in richer and wealthier communities. You see, in affluent communities, they have already started retrofitting their homes, transforming them into net zero havens. They even have entire communities now that are completely net zero. Even the poisonous gases released by poisonous stoves are not translated. Because if your home is net zero, environmental harm is virtually eliminated. These poisonous gases released by gas stoves are eliminated by switching to all electric induction stoves. But these upgrades are not generally available in poor Black and brown communities. No, they are forced to inhale poisonous gases inside and outside of their homes. And the major contributors, the biolabs, the factories, the power stations, they are all overwhelmingly located in poor communities, degrading their quality of life now and into the future. This is not a political issue. It doesn't matter if you are Democrat or Republican, American or Sudanese. I believe if you live in the environment, you should be an environmentalist. This is something that affects us all. This is why in Cambridge, Massachusetts, we passed the Green New Deal. And as vice president of Green Cambridge, I took pride in advocating for this legislation. This policy requires that our large commercial buildings reduce emissions steadily over the next decade, achieving net zero by 2035. Because the vast majority of our buildings in Cambridge cause our most emissions, this is by far the most impactful step we could have taken. And what makes the Green New Deal a companion legislation is the fact that we are requiring our city to assist our low-income residents in green job training. There's no way we could achieve these ambitious targets without skilled workforce to make the necessary modifications to our buildings. So what can you do in your community to fight global warming? Well, you can start by retrofitting your homes. And if that's not an option, at the bare minimum, insulate. This will reduce your carbon footprint, increase your home's efficiency, and it will keep money in your pocket. If possible, go solar. The federal government will give you a 30% reduction on your taxes, and depending on what state you live in, there are so many other incentives and rebates, making it not only affordable, but profitable to go solar. And with the Inflation Reduction Act signed into law last year, there is so much funding available to help you make these necessary modifications to your homes. And even if you rent, reach out to your landlord for a home energy assessment. A lot of utility companies provide these audits for free, and you can see where your home is inefficient and how you can keep money in your pocket. And last but not least, reach out to your state, federal, and local legislators. As you can see with our Green New Deal in Cambridge, even at a local level, Your city councilors may be able to pass impactful legislation that will move you towards net zero sooner than you ever thought possible. Obama said, change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. And remember, every small action adds up, and collective efforts lead to meaningful change. We have to take responsibility for our carbon footprint, and we have to inspire others to do the same. So let's journey forward together. Let's shatter the walls of indifference. Let's champion this net zero homes. Let's redefine the blueprints of progress. Our collective action, no matter how small, will echo through time, a resounding testament to the fact that we chose to be the architects of a sustainable future. Thank you.